In the post-Me Too era, it's great that Kiara Advani has come with a movie that talks about consent and what constitutes sexual assault and our propensity to victim blame. We are talking about her new film on Netflix called Guilty. It's 119 minutes long, it's very short and succinct and compared to Bollywood movie standards, and is directed by Ruchi Narain. It's set in a swanky college in Delhi, and it's about how the college heart-throb Vijay is accused of rape by a woman who's lesser privileged and perhaps not as erudite and as cerebral as her other classmates. It's a portrait where the girlfriend of the accused supports him wholly, and the entire movie plays out from her perspective. So there is Kiara Advani who plays Nanki Dutta. It's not often that you see in a Bollywood film where the actress is clearly troubled, the heroine is troubled, and it's said, the movie is said from her gaze. There are several things that are very interesting about this film. What I loved about this film is also the novel concept of what constitutes consent. Very often in Bollywood films, stalking is looked at as a romantic. A no means a yes when a lover is stalking, like perhaps his interest, rumored love interest. So there are very problematic narratives in Bollywood. So to see a movie by Ruchi Narain, tackling this very murky subject of consent is quite interesting, especially in the Me Too era. Just when we are rejoicing the Harvey Weinstein verdict, it's important that Hindi films are also, giving their perspective on sexual assault and victim blaming. Regarding the performances, I thought Kiara Advani did a fantastic job. She plays a wild child of sorts. She's the kind who can quote Virginia Woolf or Kafka. It is a bit pretentious, but then in a Delhi University campus, it's often seen that the kids are very cerebral. They know they read quite a bit, and they inhabit a different space. They're quite intellectual as well. Perhaps pseudo-intellectual. In fact, the pseudo-intellectualism comes to the fore when a woman accuses the most popular boy from the college, who looks very suave, of sexual assault. Nobody believes her, and that kind of narrative where we're so quick to blame the victim and slut shame her is effectively showed in this movie. Another thing that I liked are the performances. Kiara Advani is perfectly cast. She'll remind you of this Girl Interrupted. She has this Gone Girl vibe about her. We are always second guessing her moves, and she's also got this history of mental illness. So the kind of we always doubt her narration. We also doubt whether she's in the right or wrong. It's almost like Kiara was telling me yesterday that it's a why done it and not a who done it as such. So why did he do it, or if he did it, is there any way, the conflict in her mind whether her boyfriend could have actually committed such a horrid crime is beautifully showcased. In fact, it's a very bleak subject, but the movie moves at a good pace. The one thing that did not work for the movie is a bit of, it enters the pretentious territory. There are many places where there's a legal counsel that's hired by the boyfriend, Vijay Pratap's family. He has a lot of clout. How his family tries to buy off the rape survivor, it gets a bit too convoluted. Rather than keeping it strict as he said, she said, who's right, who's wrong story, it goes into that murky territory of what power can do to you. It's also very pessimistic way. It kind of is underwhelming to watch it unfurl on the screen. Another thing that I thought did not work for the movie is the hurried ending. The climax was so disappointing, and there was so much crammed into those last 10 minutes that it kind of defeated the entire purpose of the film. The movie was going really good for the first 100 minutes. In the last few minutes, it descends into this over-dramatic territory, and Kiara Advani is given a monologue, and a lot is explained about her past. It kind of makes the subject, the principal subject of rape, it kind of dilutes what we saw so far. So that I thought was a bit disappointing. But however, it is great to see actors taking on such interesting subjects. It may not come together as a whole, but it's good to see actors like Kiara Advani, whom we saw her in Kabir Singh. I've gone with 3 out of 5. For my full review, go to gulfnews.com. We have also put out a cover story on Kiara Advani tomorrow. Do pick up Tabloid.